Hi everyone, welcome back to Rays of Tarot. Welcome if you are new. My name is Stella, and in today's Pick a Pile reading, excuse me for my voice, I don't know what happened there. Today's Pick a Pile reading, we are going to look into a very specific question, which is, why are you stuck and what to do about it? So this could be about something that you're currently struggling with, some type of blockage that you have been encountering over and over again that is kind of like really hard to overcome. And this reading is meant for your spirit guides or your higher self or spirit or whatever it is that you feel connected to come through to you with messages about what is it that currently needs your attention. So what specific part of you needs a little bit more of your love and attention and care, if you will. And then we will also look into some very specific and detailed things that you can do or that you should keep in mind or work with or work on in order to move forward and past this blockage. So in every single pile we will do 3 parts as per usual. First part will be some pre-shuffled oracles, which is basically going to serve us as a little bit of an energy check, so you should be able to find your energy and recognize your own energy at this time in your journey. These readings are timeless, by the way, so you should be able to find you will find them whenever it is that you need to find them, essentially. Then the second part will be the tarot, which is going to be about what to do about these blockages. And at the end of the reading, we will take some oracles, basically just to give you some little bit of extra closing advice. And that will be it. So for today, we have 3 piles. On pile 1, I was about to say pile 3, I don't know why, but on pile 1, we have the, oh god, what is it called? It's a new deck. And it's called the Radiant Wild Tarot. And this is a gift of my beautiful friend, Tears. I know she watches my readings, obviously. I freaking love you. Thank you so much for this deck. I adore it. Look how fucking pretty. Let me just take a second here. Look how fucking pretty this is. It's like golden gilded. Like, what the hell? Anyways, thank you. I love you. You're amazing. I'm grateful for you. And, I'm speechless. I freaking adore you. Anyways, pile 1 is the Radiant Wild Tarot with this beautiful little oh god, I'm making a mess. Obsidian heart. Let me see if I can make it focus. Then on pile 2, we have the Moonchild Tarot with this green opalite. Green opal? Not opalite. And on pile 3, we have the Modern Goddesses Tarot with this beautiful little clear quartz cluster heart. Please focus. And yeah, as per usual, the disclaimers are always in the description box. You should always be able to use your own discernment, and if you're not able to use your own discernment, then it's probably not the best idea for you to watch tarot readings on YouTube from complete strangers that are meant for the collective. So yeah, it's always, as per usual, more than normal to feel called to more than one pile, even all 3, because readings will never ever be able to encompass all, like, to be all encompassing of any person, situation, energy, or connection. Every single reading will always only ever focus on one specific thing that needs highlighting. So it's definitely more than possible. It would make a lot of sense for multiple readings that are even very different from each other to resonate with you. Regarding different things, different persons, different stuff going on. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in your pile. Hi pile 1, if you chose this beautiful little obsidian heart as well as the Radiant Wilds Tarot, which, by the way, this was a gift from my beautiful, awesome, amazing friend Tears. I know she watches my readings, so in case you chose this pile, hello. If not, then, you know, shout out to her. Anyways, this is going to be your reading on what is it that is currently blocking you or making you feel kind of lost right now in life? So what is it that you're kind of struggling with, and what to do about that? So this is by no means telling you that you should do certain things. This is just your spirit guides coming through with some guidance, some inspiration, probably some messages and synchronicities and things that you already knew deep down, but maybe just need some more confirmations. You know, sometimes we just need to smash our heads against things like 25 billion times before we actually get the message. So hopefully this reading will be of service to you in that way. And yeah, what we're going to do is essentially, we're going to first do a little energy check for you with these oracle cards, and then afterwards we're going to take the tarot and dive a little bit more in depth about the advice. So what to do about this struggle, this blockage, this thing that is kind of making you feel like you have no freaking clue of what you're doing in life, which by the way, none of us have any idea. We're all here to figure that out. That's the beauty of life. Anyways, so what we have here for you is that was a weird flip. Bayame, the god of beauty. We have Saturn. We have the secret garden with sacred space and the elements of water and earth. Cultivate your space, inner beauty, self-care. So we have a theme going on already, obviously. We have flow. Then we have health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. We have romantic love with number 39, or that adds up to 12 or 3 in numerology. And this card reads, the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. And last but not least, number 28 or 10, ocean of emotion. Find a safe place to express your true feelings. Now, let me check real quick if everything is in the frame. Yes, it is. Wonderful. So, pile 1, are you okay? Obviously, this is kind of like... This is obviously a reading about something that you're struggling with. So people who are completely, you know, completely... I cannot speak. Wow. Obviously, everyone has things going on. That's what I wanted to say. And I feel like in the answer to the question, how are you doing? Are you okay? How are you feeling? Like the true answer would be for you, I am doing absolutely freaking amazing, but also there's a lot of pain inside of me that I'm processing. That would be your answer, likely. I'm hearing like painfully aware. Those 2 words, painfully aware. So there's this degree of like, I'm doing so well. There's so much beauty around me. I can feel so much. I can feel so much. This is definitely, okay, it would not surprise me if this pile did not resonate with a lot of people. If this would be like, if I looked at my stats and for this video and this was the least popular pile. Because this is the depth and complexity, and I want to cry so much. I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it in my throat. I have like tingles all over my skin. There is... the depth and complexity that exists within your energy right now, pile 1, is just unparalleled. Like, this is not the type of energy, the type of growth, the type of transformation that you can find in a lot of people. This is definitely the pile for my sensitives. If this is your pile, you're likely someone who's very, 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 very deeply sensitive. Make that mean whatever you want. Doesn't have to mean like clairvoyant, clairsensitive. Could definitely be, for sure. Wow. Where do we even start? I guess I already started a little bit, but there's just so much soft... I keep getting heart. Like, you are so in touch with your heart. And I want to say, you're also very, very in touch with your guides. You're very in touch with like synchronicities, and you might definitely see a lot of like repeating angel numbers, repeating synchronistic signs and things. You probably have a direct connection with your spirit guides or with like angels, whatever type of entities that you work with. Because there's a lot of clarity. I keep seeing like very clear waters, but very cold waters, if that makes sense. And I feel like you either have been crying so much, like you have been crying a lot, or you constantly feel like you have to cry for no specific reason. Like there's this feeling of like I'm crying and I just have so much emotion that wants to come out of me and wants to come through me, and then that wants to be felt by me. And it doesn't even have to have like a cause or a specific reason or anything. There's just so much emotion flowing through you. And sometimes this might be a little overwhelming, for sure. And although I feel like you have like had some type of breakthrough recently, they're kind of like right now at the other side of. And if you haven't had that breakthrough yet, then you're literally on the brink of it, because this is definitely breakthrough, like healing, I've healed so much already type of energy. And there's kind of this sense of indeed being lost, of like not being entirely sure of what's going on in your 3D life. Not a lot of things making a lot of sense. And perhaps even some doubt about how do I manifest, how do I go into the specific direction that I want to go in life. This could apply in a lot of things. And I feel like for a lot of you, this will have to do, obviously, because we have the card here, it will have to do with romantic love. Like you either, I feel like for a lot of you, and this doesn't have to be for everyone, but for a lot of you, you might be single at this time. Or definitely you feel like you have so much potential for a beautiful, nourishing, grounding, and spiritual, authentic and genuine, deep, intimate type of connection with a special someone, I want to say. But you haven't really been able to find that on the outside of yourself yet. Like you have done all the inner work, you've done all the self-love work. You can definitely, like, if someone would ask you, do you love yourself? Your answer would be yes. I've worked so freaking hard to get it to this point, and I'm finally at the point in which I can say that I love myself. And this doesn't mean that I'm perfect. This doesn't mean that I have no flaws, or that oh my god, I can't talk. That I have healed everything, and that it doesn't mean that you're perfect, but it means that you have unconditional love for yourself. Or at least you're striving, you're consciously always working towards that place of unconditional love for yourself. And you might be sad or frustrated or just wondering whether you will ever find that type of love that can match, like that love outside of yourself that can match how, like, the depth of love that you can feel on the inside of yourself. And you are aware that the type of love that you are able to give to yourself and the love that you offer to others is a rare type of love. Because it's a generous, kind, patient, authentic, selfless, deep, persistent, honest, raw type of love that you have to offer. And that's also the way in which you have been learning to love yourself. And that's the way that you also yearn and want to be loved by someone on the outside of you. And that's very fair. I feel like sometimes perhaps you might feel guilty for wanting a partner. You're like, especially if you're a woman, which, I mean, I'm getting a lot of strong feminine energy from this. We also have the elements of water and earth specifically coming out here. Doesn't have to be astrologically relevant. Like we also have Saturn, which rules Aquarius and Capricorn. A bunch of Venus energy as well with this romantic love and this card too. So Taurus, Libra could be relevant. But yeah, that's not. I'm getting very, very strong. Like specifically water. So you definitely, it wouldn't surprise me if you had like 4th house or 8th house or 12th house placements, or like Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Doesn't have to be astrologically relevant. But I'm definitely getting a lot of feminine energy. And I was saying, especially if you are a woman, if you're not a woman, then discard this message. But especially if you are a woman, you might feel something like, okay, let me rectify. If you are a heterosexual woman, or if you are a woman wanting a masculine energy, if that makes sense, apply that to yourself however that fits you. You might have this feeling of like, oh, I shouldn't, like in this day and age, like women or feminine energies are supposed to be, you know, independent and not wanting a man, or not wanting someone to like hold them and be there for them and whatever. You might have that type of guilt for wanting this type of, yeah, that it wouldn't surprise me if you had some type of Cancer placements or 4th house placements. Because you definitely put a lot of value in intimate connections. It wouldn't surprise me if you're more the type of person that values like one-on-one sessions with people rather than like very large group hangout partying type of sessions with friends and loved ones. and perhaps I'm sensing this worry of like, well, maybe I will never find it. Maybe I'm just meant to love myself. Maybe I'm just meant to be by myself, and, you know, to learn to love myself. And maybe I'm just not meant to find this beautiful romantic love and partnership. Maybe I'm just too naive if I think that there's someone out there for me, or maybe I should just be content with the self-love that I have. Sometimes I gotta check if we're still rolling, because it has happened. Oh, I just saw 11:01. That might be a number that you have been seeing recurrently. Sometimes I need to check if we're still rolling, because it has had a blah 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 blah. I cannot fucking deal with this, I swear to God. It has happened way too often. I'm so sorry, guys. That my camera just stopped filming, and that's not funny, because then I'm just like talking to literally no one. Anyways. For some of you, there might have been a situation in which you thought that you found the person, or right now, like, it might be fresh, or it might be something that is relevant to you right now. A situation in which you thought you had found a person, and either it didn't work out, or it's not showing up yet, or it's not showing up. It has never so far showed up in the way that you wanted to. So if you perhaps, like in these two case scenarios, if you were with a person that you thought was your person, that you were going to be for the rest of your life with, but it turned out to just not be it, and you guys like parted ways, and it just I'm hearing like a broken dream, unfinished plans and things like that, that you just didn't bring this connection into what you wanted it to be. Or if you have had your eyes and heart on one specific person, and they just don't seem to be into you in the same way, or not be ready for you, or there has been this type of talk about like, yeah, we have reciprocal love for each other, but this is just not the time. There's no space for this right now. It's just not the time. Like, right time, wrong, right person, wrong time type of thing. Which, I mean, it's a whole topic in itself. Is that a thing, or isn't that a thing? But I'm feeling definitely there's this hopelessness towards romance. Like, almost you kind of like losing hope, really desiring this thing, but at the same time telling yourself like, oh, I shouldn't even be desiring this. I should just stay by myself and work on myself and love myself. And, you know, I'm hearing that this is recently that song from Miley Cyrus came out. I think it's called Flowers. I can buy myself flowers. I can hold my own hand and write my name in the sand and all those things. Badass song, by the way. Damn. I'm also getting this thing with, there's a lot about beauty here. I feel like you might just be, or you have just recently awakened to like a very new degree of, or level of sensitivity, in which you just like might find, you might be moved by looking at small insects, or insects. Or you might just be incredibly touched by how much beauty surrounds you, by just looking at a sunset, or by just looking at trees swaying in the wind, or just listening to like the silence when you're in the woods or something like that, or just seeing how much beauty you can find in just looking at people on the street being cute to each other and things like that. There's definitely this sense of loneliness of can I please have someone that holds me in the way that I want to be held, and that loves me in the way that I want to be loved. And can I please have someone to love in return? Like, you really long for this reciprocity, for this beauty and love. And I'm also getting that at the root of all of this is the worry that maybe others won't see, or don't see your beauty, that they don't see or feel things to the same degree that you do. This sense of not being seen. I'm getting very shy type of energy, and this doesn't necessarily have to mean that you act often as a shy person, or that you like come across as a shy person. But more so, I'm getting this vibe of, oh, maybe if I show certain parts of me, they won't think I'm beautiful. And beautiful, this could be physical beauty, or this could also just be like, you know, general beauty, like what makes a person beautiful. What if I say certain things. I'm seeing this card specifically got me. So this is an Australian Australian. Was that, what the hell? Sometimes I do weird things with my accents. I have no idea what's going on with that. This is a god that is usually depicted with like very big eyes, so that's definitely a trait that you might have. I'm seeing specifically very big blue eyes, but obviously that's not going to resonate for everyone, but that's kind of the thing that I'm seeing right now as I say this. And he's depicted with no mouth. The thing about this god is that it says that beauty doesn't always have to be spoken out loud, because there's certain degrees of beauty that can only be felt. Or thought about and shared in just knowing, like if you know, like finding these connections with people that you know, like sometimes you just meet people and you're like, you know what's going on. You just know, like by just the way that they move, by just the things that they say, not necessarily like the explicit things that they say, but you can kind of feel the vibe beneath or below or behind what they're saying, if that makes sense. But I am seeing here also this kind of, is this a bird? I don't know, it looks like a bird to me. But this bird is kind of like coming out of this shell, and there's this blue type of light coming out of this thing that is going on here, and kind of like showing up in his beak and his eye as well. I definitely do feel like you might have a, that's not how I wanted to word it, but I'm hearing like a very, very strong throat chakra blockage. So you're very mindful or very anxious about the things that you say and how you say things. Definitely you might have grown up in a environment in which your caregiver, like one of your caregivers, was rather narcissistic. And therefore that's maybe why you are so good at, being empathetic and being having regard for how other people feel and things like that. But there's definitely this worry, this fear, this deep-rooted fear within your heart and your solar plexus chakra specifically, I want to say. There's definitely a lot about the heart. Like your heart, my dude, and I mean my dude in the most gender neutral way possible. Your heart is beautiful and pure. I'm seeing the color white. I'm seeing specifically like a very bright white heart. Oh my god, wow. That is such strong energy. What was I saying? Yeah, there's this fear about what if this person doesn't see my beauty? What if there's definitely also something about like you might have like struggled a lot with accepting your body and the way your body looks. Like you might have some things that you feel like are freakish about you or that are just weird, like a weird shape or something. I'm getting this idea of like this part of me specifically, which could literally be like physical and or metaphysical, possibly both. But I'm getting this idea of this hyperfixation with a specific thing or like a specific flaw or something that you would see as a flaw in your body, and you're like, this isn't supposed to be like this. I wish it would be different, and just this really hard time accepting this part of you. Which again, if you have that about your physical body, if you have this struggle accepting, or just like this struggle with misjudging, or just like being kind of non-accepting of this specific flaw or a specific part of your body, this is likely very, very reflective of something on the inside of you. Everything that is on the outside of us is on the inside of us as well. And you might be very supportive of other people, especially women, be like, girl, like be confident, like you're gorgeous, fuck beauty standards. I'm also getting this type of anger energy towards reels on Instagram and TikToks about beauty standards and about things like whitening your teeth and then losing weight and stuff like that. You might be very passionate about like body, what is it called? Body positivity and empowerment around like loving your body, how it is, and all those things. But for some reason, you might have a very hard time accepting your own body. And there's definitely, I just heard the beauty that you see in others, the beauty that you see in the planet around you, in animals, in flowers, and in the elements, and just the beauty that you see around you is yours. Like, that's you, my love. That's you. And I know you know this, but sometimes you just need reminders. And sometimes I feel like perhaps indeed this is just something that you need to hear from a random stranger on the internet. Hello, hi, happy to serve. And I feel like you might have a hard time accepting compliments from people because you feel like it's not true. Like your filter kind of like doesn't allow for certain compliments or certain positive affirmations to come through, because you block them out because you're like, no, it's not true, and it's almost uncomfortable when people compliment you. And I'm getting this shy energy again, so definitely you might be someone who struggles with taking compliments, like with accepting compliments, because you're not entirely sure what to do with them. Just accept them as other people's opinions. Truthfully, if someone tells you like, oh my god, you're so pretty, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do with this? I don't think it's true. Just accept that person thinks that you're very pretty. That's their opinion, and there ain't nothing that you can do about that. Still rolling. Very nice. This is probably going to be a very long reading, but that's okay. You definitely feel like love and relationships and connections in general, doesn't have to be necessarily romantic, but especially romantic, has always been a hell of a struggle for you. Like, it's always been very, very hard. Very hard to break through your own blockages, and very hard to get through other people, very hard to make things work. And that's why kind of bit by bit, it's like you're growing more and more compassion and more understanding and more loving towards yourself and towards other people. But at the same time, as much as you grow in love, it feels like you're losing hope for a relationship. Like, that's the easiest, most simple way that I can put it. Like, you're losing hope, like you're growing, and it's this bittersweet energy that I'm getting from you. This very bittersweet seated within your heart, because at the same time you have these two coexisting sides in your heart. The one is like super bright and open and loving and happy and at peace and welcoming and embracing of all types of emotions and all types of things and people and energies. And then there's this other side that is kind of like slumping into the abyss of, this is never going to work out. I'm never going to find a person that loves me, and it's never going to work out. It's always only going to ever be lessons after lessons after lessons. Which is not objectively true, pile one. I feel I feel the need to talk very sweetly to you. I keep seeing these big crying eyes, these big sweet crying eyes. And again, I want to cry right now as I'm feeling into this energy. It's not objectively true. It's a reality within you. It's a feeling that is real. So that fear of yours, it's a real thing within you. It exists. It's something that has a message for you. But it's not all the truth. It's part of, like, there's that's my humble opinion, but there's no such thing as one truth. And maybe that's also something that you're painfully aware of, that there's no such thing as one truth. If you have that fear of not being seen, of people not loving you, of people not seeing you, of people not understanding the depth that you carry inside of you, of people not understanding the pain that you've gone through, and not seeing how much you've grown, how much you've broken through, and how much you've, transformed yourself. And if you're afraid that you're never going to find like a good partner, essentially, to the degree in which you desire for a romantic connection to be like, that's an emotion or a feeling or something inside of you that is very real. You shouldn't discard that. You shouldn't feel bad for having that fear or that feeling or that sentiment. But you should also at the same, like, you should cherish it. You should see it as the part of you that is just very scared of being alone, essentially. Just very scared of being perhaps abandoned or just not seen or not heard, or basically just the part of you that is afraid of being alone, lonely, and isolated and just separated from everyone and everything. And that is just a little part of you. You should not allow that part of you. You should not allow, wait, how was I constructing? And of course, it did cut up. I didn't say much else, honestly. I did already put away the cards, but what I was saying is there's this little part of you that is just that. It's just one little part of you that is essentially really afraid. That is like a core fear of yours. Which is, I guess, what this reading needed to highlight to you. Because that might be the part of you that needs the most love right now. So this part of you that is fearful to remain, to be abandoned, to not be seen, to basically be lonely and isolated. But you should not let that part of you convince you that that is the truth, because it's just one little thing inside of you. And of course it feels very big. It feels very big and real. But keep in mind that that's not the truth, because you can manifest anything. You're literally creating, you're shifting your own reality. And if reality on the outside of you still needs to catch up, that's the thing. Reality on the outside of you still needs to catch up with you, with your internal transformations. Because as I always say, the 3D is a slow moving dimension. It takes time for things to happen. Like, you can have indeed like potential and you can have an idea, you can have a feeling and knowing exactly what you want, but it takes time to build things and to manifest them into form. For instance, like tarot readings, I can have cards on the table and immediately I get already the vibe of the things, but it takes time to express all those words and all those sentences one by one to make sense in human words for the brain to understand things. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes time, and I feel like you need to allow time to do its thing, and just keep working on yourself for sure. Keep just embodying that beautiful energy and keep doing you. And eventually your external world will catch up with your internal world, if that makes sense. Now, let's see what steps you can do, or what kind of things you should pay attention to, or what you can do to unblock yourself. I just heard unfuck yourself. To unstuck yourself, to... I don't even want to say get back on the right path, because I feel like you are right on track. Like, you're so on your right path, pile one. It's insane. Sometimes, yes, we feel lost because we are like on the wrong side path. Maybe we took some like strange decisions or like bad decisions that just put us in bad places or wrong places. But this is not the case. Like, you've done so much internal work, pile one. And it's showing. You know it's showing, honey. Like, you know. So you're literally already on your path. But let's see what we have here. What you guys want you to know, what they want you to focus on, what they want you to do. Let's see. What can pile one do in order to deal with the situation? What should pile do with this situation? Oh, by the way, damn, I almost forgot. We had this card all about beauty and all about cultivate your space, inner beauty, self-care. There's a lot about like taking care of your of your home environment, of your body. It's probably very beneficial for you, and I feel like it's very silly for you like to say this, but it's probably very beneficial for you to keep your house tidy, your room clean, to make your room aesthetically pleasing, to make your house and your environment just like matching your inside energy, if that makes sense. That's also type of manifestation, and it also works the other way around. So like, if you create a space outside of yourself that is pleasant and that makes you feel like yourself, you will more often, because the outside reflects the inside and the inside reflects the outside. That's why depression houses a thing. That's why when people are doing super bad, they don't clean the dishes for like 3 months straight. You know, that kind of thing. It works both ways. If you feel well, you're more prone to clean your house and to take care of yourself and everything. But it also works the other way around. If you take care of yourself, if you take care of your house, you will feel better. So that's definitely a little reminder that we have here for you. But let's see, what should pile one do or focus on at this time to get through this, or to manage these energies with grace, I want to say, which I feel like you have already been doing. But if you're here, you just need some guidance, and we will provide you. So what should pile one do right now about this blockage, this situation that they're facing? What advice, what direction should pile one go? We have the Four of Pentacles, What should pile one focus on or do to take well care of themselves in this time? All of these, I'm gonna put these back. I wasn't gonna take reversals. I feel like this one wants to stay though. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, unsurprising. What should pile one do? What is the direction that pile one should be going for this right now? We have the Devil, Capricorn energy again. You might be in a 10th house perfection year or 11th house perfection year, or you might have Saturn in the 11th house, or you might have Saturn in the 7th house perhaps. Just a few things that came through right now. It doesn't have to be astrologically relevant. It's not going to be astrologically relevant for everyone. We have the Two of Wands, and why did I know this card would come out? Damn, what the hell? And the Queen of Swords. So I'm hearing reevaluation, redirection, like refocusing of energy. I feel like this is a very new place that you're at in your life. Like this is very new, because you recently had like a breakthrough or just like a change, an inner change, some type of transformation happened within you that was very powerful and very, very tangible. Like it was, you know what I'm talking about, if that has been the case. And now you're like, okay, but what do I do now? Like I've healed this thing that was bothering me so much, but what do I do now? Like it's really, it's kind of like coming out of a tunnel and into like a completely new place. You're like, what the hell? I've never been here before. I'm completely lost. I have no idea. Help, help, help. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from you. The first thing is that I'm getting is patience. Be patient. Because again, with this Knight of Pentacles coming through here and the moon's showing up, it's all about cycles and it's all about like divine timing and everything is happening. We have a lot of circles. Is this just the, okay, there's a lot of circles in this entire deck, doesn't matter. But I just keep seeing like cycles of like the earth around the sun and moon cycles just like in sped up motion. I feel like you can see where you want to be in like a few months or like in a few years, like you want, or like perhaps if you have done predictive readings, you might know kind of where you're headed, but you're like, I don't see the result right now. Like it's going way too slow for me. As you are such an emotional being, such an emotionally driven being, I'm also getting Aries vibes a little bit. It doesn't have to be necessarily, but I'm feeling like you're being called to step a little bit more into your rational powers and to like harness your mind a little more, because I feel like you have mastered, or like you're pretty masterful, if that makes sense, when it comes to your emotions and your psychic powers and the spiritual stuff and all that jazz, your water energy and your earth energy. But perhaps your mind and your relationship to your mind and your thoughts is what needs more focus right now, which is surprising, because usually it's like, you know, tune more into your emotions and be more welcoming of your emotions and all that. But this is kind of clearly telling you, like, look at your relationship to your thoughts and your mind, and how are you being controlled by your mind sometimes, and how are you being pulled down into the dark abyss by your mind. Your emotions are not the problem. It's not the fear. Your fear is not the problem. Oh my God, I shared a little reel like yesterday. I think it's still in my stories on my personal Instagram, but it was this kind of like this vignette, if that's a word, I don't know, but it was this clip of a woman being like, oh my God, look, it's a door into the unknown. And then there was this little like dark black little puppet thing clinging onto her leg being like, no, don't go. And she was like, no, like, let loose fear, because that little black thing holding her back was fear. And she was like, let me go, like, get fuck off. Like, he's just trying to shush this thing away. And fear would just not let go. And she then sat and she realized, like, okay, so fear is not going to go away. You're not going to let go of me, are you, fear? Okay, then she took it, she grabbed it, she just like embraced it. She was like, okay, then you're coming with me. So it was basically just like, you have fear, keep going anyways. Don't let that fear hold you back. Just go into the unknown, with your fear. You're never going to get rid of any type of fear because it's a very, very normal, natural, needed state thing to have inside of you. So fear is not the problem. Emotions are not the problem. It's really what we do with it, because all of those things have messages, very important messages for us. In this case, your fear of being lonely just tells you, I don't want to be lonely. That's something that I don't want. That's why you have, there's the fear of being lonely and the desire for connection. Like, that's the same thing. It's just two sides of the same coin. So as long as you have the desire for connection and as long as you strive for connection, you will always have likely somewhere a little bit, to a degree, fear of being alone and being lonely. These cards are really inviting you to slow down, take it slow, and just go with the earthly timing, which is indeed very slow. And befriend your mind and see how you can use your mind to direct yourself in the directions in which you want to go, and in the direction that feels good and that serves you, rather than being scared of your mind, rather than feeling like your mind has control over you, because that's not the case. Your mind is your mind. It's not like your mind's human. Like, it's the other way around. Like, your mind is a part of you. But okay, let's see what else. What about this Two of Wands specifically, please? What else should pile 1 do at this stage in their life, please? What to do for pile 1? Okay, so we're gonna take these two. We have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. These, did I flip them over? I feel like they have to be reversed. We're just gonna take them reversed. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We have the Knight of Cups. I want another clarifier for that Knight of Cups, please. Can I please have a Knight of Cups? Clarification. What about this Knight of Cups for pile 1? Okay, so this card flipped over and turned back again. I just want to see what it is. It's the Ace of Cups. Well, that is very interesting. And okay, it just gotta take this on. The Seven of Wands. Yeah. Okay. Wow, this is exciting. Okay, we're gonna get into this, but I'm gonna pull 2 more cards because this was just a clarifier for the Knight of Cups. What about the Devil, please? We have the Five of Cups. And 1 more card, please. We have the Sun. Wow. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Cups. Look at that shit. Okay. Pile 1. I just saw 1331. So mirroring that, it was very much in line of what I was about to say right now. If you have found yourself attracting emotionally avoidant partners, emotionally avoidant people just in general, or non-committal type of people, like as a pattern, if that has been a pattern, you're definitely being invited to look at how you do this to yourself internally. This is not to say that you're to blame for other people's actions. This is not to say that it's your fault if people are being avoidant. Not at all. This is not at all the case. This is not what this means. This is not what this is about. But this is to say, again, there's this thing about mirroring, that everything that happens on the outside of you is a reflection of something that happens on the inside of you. Especially the people and the things close to us. Things as in like situations and energies that we keep dealing with and that we keep attracting. The things that are close to us, especially, are sort of like are holding a magnifying glass over something that is happening within ourselves. So if you have been constantly been confronted with avoidant types of partners, or people who weren't welcoming of your emotions and weren't welcoming of your voice and whatever, of your opinions and things like that. That is to show you that there's something that those people have been doing and bringing into your life that you're doing to yourself internally. In which ways are you building up walls when it comes to like intimacy and open communication with people? Perhaps that's a thing that you have been struggling in, like communicating your emotions in a way that is yeah, and now I'm blanking. I feel like perhaps you don't know how to communicate very well about your emotions and about your boundaries. Perhaps like that's something that you might struggle a lot with. And that is perhaps something that you should work on right now, because this is indeed, this is a very clear message about, this is something like communicating about your emotions and like controlling type of your mind and steering yourself and steering your how you communicate in a way that is right now completely unknown to you. Like you have probably no idea of how to do that in a way that is constructive or productive or whatever it is. Whatever you want to call that, that is definitely something that you're being invited to look at, to dive deeper in, how you want to communicate and how you could communicate your emotions and your boundaries in a way that serves you and that is, yeah, productive, that kind of like opens the doors for desirable outcomes. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Yeah, I feel like you're very, very careful with your words, and like you're very, you overthink. You might also over-explain to an extent, or just like you might have Virgo Mercury. Potentially, doesn't have to be, but there's definitely this degree of like, how do I say this? How do I say this in a way that doesn't hurt you? And how do I say this in a way that still conveys my inner world? There's definitely something about that. And with this sun coming out below the Queen of Swords, I'm just getting again this vibe of like, befriend your mind is your friend, and then it's like your mind is kind of like a child that you have to parent. It's like this super energized thing running around screaming all types of things and then kind of like hyper attentive and then active and blah, 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 chaos, and you kind of have to be like, okay, listen, my dude, you know, this is how you have to do things, and this is how we're going to do things because of reasons X, Y, and Z. There's definitely, again, also this impatience. There's this impatience from your side of like, I can't wait more, and I know that I have to wait, but have I been patient enough already? Like, when is it going to happen? Things like that. And if a romantic relationship as you wanted hasn't showed up yet, or hasn't manifested, or hasn't materialized yet, it just means that you also have still some things to work through and to manage within yourself before you can come to the point of such a relationship as you wanted, if that makes sense. And this also doesn't mean that you can only have a good relationship once you're completely healed, because, you know, that doesn't exist. But there's some things that we have to heal on our own, and then there's also things that we only can heal within the context of a relationship. And we need both. We need to heal within ourselves on our own, and we also need relationships and connections with people to heal other things. There's also definitely this yeah, there's definitely a degree of avoidance within you, and it's a very small part. It's a very, very sneaky type of like low-key, nobody who knows you, and you would also probably not describe yourself as an avoidant type of like, as someone who has an avoidant attachment type of thing, but there's definitely this avoidance towards things that scare you, which makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying any like award-winning type of crazy thought right now, but yeah, there's definitely this, and I feel like you're not very familiar with that part of you, because you're definitely a lot more in touch with the part of you that is nurturing and giving and open and honest and genuine and all those things, and generous. But there's this degree of like, I don't even want to look at my avoidance, and I just like, if there's something that scares me, and if I think that it's not going to work out, then I don't even want to like, it's whatever. Like, I'll just leave it be as it is right now, because there's no point anyways. That type of energy. So that's definitely I feel like that's definitely some things that need your attention right now. I want to take some advice to close off this reading. This is the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Let's see. What advice to close off do we have for our one? Some words of encouragement or some final advice? I don't know if you can see it, by the way, but I'm wearing like a fluffy blanket because it's just cold. Oh, okay. The Breathing Rose. The Breathing Rose. Heart healing, emotions, connection, time eases. This woman on this card is holding her solar plexus and her sacral chakra, specifically. So that's definitely, yeah, I'm definitely getting this vibe of you should love on your own body a little more. And again, I feel like crying now that I'm saying that. But you should make love to your own body more. Pile one. I feel like a lot of people don't even stay for the advice, so I feel like even if I say some things that might be weird or like uncomfortable for some people, I mean, peace and love. If you don't like it, then don't take the message. But definitely offer gentle, sensual touch to yourself, and this doesn't have to mean, you know, specific things, but just be gentle with yourself physically. Offer yourself that physical affection that you so crave and so want to give to others. And of course, it's not the same thing, but it's still very important. It puts you in that it puts you in a specific type of energy that you want to embody and manifest. So that's definitely something that you're being called to do, to love a little bit more on your body. Perhaps invest in some like natural oils for your body, with like essential oils, like scents that you love. Take like rose baths and things like that, and then just take some time to love on your own body. I'm getting specifically something about shaving. If you don't want to shave, don't shave. If you want to shave, then shave. There's no shame in either things like that. There's definitely something about you need to learn to love your body more, because that's definitely something that is hindering you in different ways. And it definitely is something, it's likely something that is very difficult for you, but that's another reason why it's so important for you to try and do that, to just pour a little bit more love on yourself in that sense. What else? I want to take one more card from this oracle deck, and then I'll take another deck for advice. This card? Okay. With whispers of Mother Earth, creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, channel. Yeah, this is definitely my sensitives pile. It wouldn't surprise me also if you have some type of creative endeavor in which you're like super like I'm seeing like very, very kind of trippy, very goddessy type of art, like visual art in my head right now. Wouldn't surprise me if you were into that. It doesn't have to be good. Like creative energy comes out in very different ways for everyone. But yeah, definitely invest in like creative outlets, in ways of expressing yourself. Perhaps if you find that you have a lot of difficulty talking to like people that you're intimate with, or like partners, or like romantic interests and things like that, perhaps try writing to them. And not necessarily like even through text, but just writing down by hand things that you would want to say to them, or things that you feel. Or just sharing parts of like your journal, or that obviously if you feel comfortable doing that, you don't have to, but there's something about like writing instead of talking, which could be like a good tool, if that makes sense. But let's see, what else do we have here? What advice do we have? Hey. So okay, yeah, so oh wow, okay. Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. This is definitely what I kind of mentioned at the beginning. We're all here to learn. You're on your path to learn how to do all of these things, how to connect with people, how to balance taking care of yourself and taking care of someone else, how to balance, like how to puzzle all the things of life. Like, we're here to learn. Nobody has it figured out, because there's no one correct way to do things. Like, you have your own specific, unique way to do things, and you literally decide what that is. There's no right or wrong decisions. There's just different consequences for different actions, and there's a little flying thingy here. I always have little flying thingies on my readings, but yeah, you decide which way you want to go. Like, find out what you want and take the steps to go towards that. It's literally like, I feel people screaming at me from the screen. It's like, it's obviously not that easy, but at the end of the day, it kind of is. Will and Orca elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. There's always something. if you feel called to singing more, or to oh, and at the bottom of the deck we have multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen, the courageous peony. I think we're just gonna put this here. Wow, holy shite. Oh, I shouldn't swear. There's something about singing. If you felt called to even like just hum, or just to do meditation with like specific mudras, so like the hand positions, don't ask me because I have no idea. Nice. Okay, so I figured out that my camera just stops filming at 25 minutes for some reason. I have no idea. I was saying, if you felt called to practice things like either singing or just like humming and just making sounds with your body, which is a very weird way of saying that, but that's what came through. That's definitely something that you can do. It's a way of expressing, so it doesn't have to sound good. It doesn't have to be pretty or something like that. And indeed, let yourself be seen, unique nature, multifaceted, the courageous peony. Peony? I have no idea how to pronounce that. But this is just a reminder of like, literally, you're you, and if people don't like it, then please leave. Like, they're doing you a favor if people want to leave because they don't like you. Because then you want people in your life who appreciate you and who can just vibe with you. If somebody doesn't like you, then it just means, you know, that they're not vibing with you. And it's pile one, you're freaking wonderful. You're definitely a rare creature. And yeah, I feel like there were some specific things that I really, really hope that resonated with you and gave you some type of insight to work with, and to keep going on this beautiful, strange path journey that is life on Earth. Thank you so much for letting me do your cards and do your reading, read your cards. I really hope that it helped and resonated and served you in one way or another. As per usual, please feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know how this resonated for you, as it means everything to me, especially when readings are this beautiful and this meaningful. Really means a lot to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. Also, please feel free to Also, please feel free to leave a comment and leave a like and subscribe. Oh my god, I can't talk. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 1, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose this beautiful green opalite as well as the Moonchild Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about why is it that you are currently feeling stuck or blocked or just stagnant or just not in such a good flowy type of energy, and what to do about it. So, as I explained in the intro, we're going to pull, or at least I pulled them already, obviously, but we're going to look into these pre-shuffled oracles that I have here for you, which is going to basically serve us as a little bit of an energy check. So you should be able to find your own energy, your current potential struggles at this time within this first part of the reading. And then afterwards, we're going to look into the tarot, asking the questions, what is it that you can or should do about the situation in order to unfuck. That's the word that keeps coming into mind. I'm sorry, okay? But yeah, we will look into the tarot to basically give you some guidance and direction about how to move through these energies, and then afterwards we're going to take some advice. And yeah, so without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. We have the god Ra power. We have, oh, that was very excited to come out. We have the number 5. We have 2 actually of these beautiful cards. The first one is Amber and Dawn Redwood, rewild with the elements of earth and air, Druid, Tree Keeper, perception versus reality. And then we also have Mushroom Magic, communication with the elements of fire and earth. Exploring new states of consciousness, untapped potential. Then we also have anger. We have growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. We have the sacral chakra with number 2. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. And last but not least, we have number 22 or 4. For this you were born. Foster your intention for incarnating in this dimension. Now, let me see if it is all in the frame. Yes, it is. Beautiful. Pile 2. I want you to take a deep breath. Where do we even start? You're doing okay. I promise you. I feel the need to say this to give you some reassurance, because perhaps not many people have given you a lot of reassurance or giving you a lot of like emotional, communicative comfort and support through their words or even their actions. You might feel a little bit abandoned or unsupported or unseen by the people around you, and you might feel a little bit like people around you, and especially the people close to you, don't really see how much you're struggling. That is something that's coming through very, very strongly right away. There is a degree of, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. There were a few things that I wanted to say like as a little starting point, because they were very specific things, but I'm getting ahead of myself. And that's probably also your own energy. There's like very small, simple things that you might have been needing to deal with, but you kind of procrastinate a lot of them because maybe you're like, oh, maybe I can do this better another time. Or like there are other bigger things that need my attention and that I need to take care of. But those things that I wanted to say first is that there's very strong, even though we have the sacral chakra card, which is obviously a very relevant thing. We will get to that in a bit. I'm getting very strong solar plexus energy. And I'm getting for a lot of you, not everyone, but a lot of you, you might be somewhat type of new or like not very familiar with all this like spiritual woo-woo type of things like chakras and you might definitely be more the person who is more on the, how do I explain this? It wouldn't surprise me. Oh my God, that's what I wanted to say. Pile 2, I am so freaking honored just tuning into your energy just right now, very early on in this reading. I am so freaking honored to have you here. And I almost want to say, I can't believe that you're here watching my readings on my channel, because what the hell? You're an ancient soul. You're a very, 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 very ancient soul. And I'm pretty sure you know this. And if this is kind of the first time that you hear something like that, you might feel it resonates somewhere, but you don't really know what that means. There's definitely a wide range of how far ahead in your spiritual journey you are among the people watching this reading and resonating with this reading. So for some of you, when I say you're a very, very old soul, you might be like, yeah, I know. And for others, it might be like, okay, sure, whatever. You guys might be definitely into things like shamanic medicines, like Amazonian medicines. I'm getting very, very strong like earth and fire energies. You don't have to be an earth or a fire sign or have a lot of those placements. I'm getting also like stellium energies. There's definitely a lack in water, or like water might be your weakest element, because there's also definitely a very, very strong masculine energy here, and like earth is the more masculine of the feminine elements, if that makes sense, because like stable, solid. And for as I see it, like fire is the more feminine of the masculine elements. So like air is like masculine to me, and fire is like masculine, feminine, and then you have water, which is feminine, and then you have earth, which is feminine, masculine. Anyways, we're digressing. I'm digressing, obviously, as per usual. You might definitely be into things like the medicine that comes from the forest. From the jungle, things like that. You might definitely be someone who I'm seeing like people walking barefoot, just like climbing trees and foraging fruits and foraging mushrooms and foraging herbs and natural medicines and things like that. Brewing concoctions and all that, and growing things. If you know, you know. If this resonates, you will be like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There's definitely, it also wouldn't surprise me if you were into things like ancient Egypt and the ancient Mayans and Aztecs and Incas and this is definitely possibly also my group of travelers, of people who are very much into, I'm getting the word ley lines right now for some reason. I'm seeing Stonehenge, then so many things. Oh my god, there's a lot of ancient energy to this pile. Whew, wow. Your crown chakra, by the way, is beaming, and it's beaming. That's the energy that I'm getting from you. I feel like you might be a little ungrounded though, and you might find a lot of peace and comfort in working with the earth, like getting your hands dirty and getting your hands in like plants and herbs and touching trees and things like that. And you know that you need a lot of that. Like there's this physical urge of being in nature and being in open air and being in contact with like natural elements. I'm getting this very specific message, and it might apply to some of you. It doesn't have to apply to everyone, but if you have been kind of trying to work with essential oils, maybe use the more grounding ones, so like heavier, darker, lower type of tones, like tree and bark and resin type of essential oils. But don't use too much of those. Like if you're going to like essential oils, because they're so volatile and so like in tune with like the air element, which you already kind of have a lot of in your energy. Again, you don't have to have those astrological placements, or like you don't have to be an air sign or a fire sign or an earth sign, but these might just be the elements that you are kind of like tuning in more with at this moment while finding this reading. So essential oils might not be exactly the thing that you want to focus on, because indeed things that are more grounding in that sense would be best for you. And if you still like enjoy essential oils, use things like vetiver and cedarwood and frankincense and whatnot, all those like more grounded, patchouli, things like that. Because you definitely need some kind of counterbalance. You need a lot of grounding energy for freaking sure. So bringing down a lot of energy from like your crown chakra and your head, your brain, your mind, down into your body and down to your feet, I want to say. You might have a lot of like 12th house placements or Pisces placements. I know we said we have not a lot of water elements, but you know, astrology will obviously look very different for everyone watching this. Anyways, the numbers also, one more thing that I wanted to say is that, it's not that I want to say, it's literally just like needing to come through. Why am I explaining myself like this? Oh my god, okay. Number 5, like repeating 5s and or repeating 9s might be very relevant for you right now. We also have 222 here. We have number 2 and number 22. So if you have been seeing like repeating 5s, I'm also seeing 15, 51, repeating 9s and 222. Those might be relevant numbers that you're seeing currently. And if this is your pile, you likely have some type of affinity with the sun, if that makes sense. Again, like a lot of solar plexus, fire, sun energy. You might be, I'm getting Leo specifically, it doesn't have to be, but I'm getting leadership energy. So like you might be in charge or like wanting to achieve some type of leadership position, or like you might feel you might feel called to lead a group of people or to guide people potentially in like healing sessions. There's definitely this sense of like needing to rise up and lead the way, because honestly, again, you're a freaking old soul, and your soul has a lot of wisdom to impart here on earth among couple oh my god, I can't talk. This might definitely also be your energy, having a very hard time putting your words together. I don't know what I was saying. I probably just said everything that I needed to. You might be currently very, very frustrated with how your connections and like how your community type of life looks like and how your relationships are going. You feel like perhaps people are not seeing you, or they're not. You definitely have like black sheep type of vibes. And if you have been struggling with things like addictions or things like trying to fill specific voids in your life, or trying to cover up specific feelings or sentiments or like emotions with either, like, I don't want to trigger anyone, so I'm not going to say any specific things, but you will probably know what, if this resonates with you, what I mean with that. If you've been trying to fill a void or cover up some type of emotion or frustration, which again is very likely frustration and the feeling of not being understood and not being seen, there's definitely this message that has been strongly needing to come through to you, which is you're filling up a void that is meant to be filled by spirit, by source, by divinity, by insight. And I know that you have no idea what I mean with this, and I honestly, as I'm saying this, I also have no idea, but that's the message that needed to come through to you. Like, it's like there's this empty shelf, there's this like empty bowl within you that is needing to be filled with something very specific, which is spirit wanting to come through to you, with either like your divine purpose, or like knowledge, or channeled messages, anything. It could be anything, but you're filling it up with distractions, or like with addictive things, or like with coping mechanisms, or with escapist methods, and yeah, coping mechanisms is, I guess, the best way that I can put it. And I know it's very scary. If this is your energy, it's very scary to sit still with your feelings and that sense of emptiness and that sense of being kind of dragged. I'm getting this feeling of being dragged, especially in my solar plexus right now, in my stomach, of sort of like what is it called? Like a kind of vortex opening inside of the ground and being kind of dragged down and into the Hades. It's very heavy, intense energy. If you don't want to sit through this, you don't have to. And I'm feeling the need to like stay afloat, stay on the surface, and not go too deep with it, because you might feel like you get lost in that depth, and that's why you kind of try to keep it wouldn't surprise me if this video didn't get a lot of what is it called, a lot of, I don't want to necessarily say views, but if it didn't get very popular out there, because these are very specific energies, and very yeah, just very specific energies that are coming through. You don't have to sit with your emotions if you're not ready for it. If things like shamanic medicines have been calling you very strongly and you have been procrastinating on those things, that's fine, because you don't have to deal with anything that you don't want to deal with. Like, it's your choice. If you don't want to, dive deep into your emotions, or like do the shadow work, and like whatever it is, you don't have to. It's okay. You get to decide what you do with your life, but be aware that the work that you're avoiding, the fact that you're avoiding the work that you know that you need to do, is kind of like, that is exactly what is blocking you. Like, you're feeling blocked, and you're feeling stagnant, and you're feeling frustrated because there are some things within you that you're avoiding. Again, you don't have to, but like, literally, there's no such thing as like you have to do this, or like you have to do shadow work and you have to heal and whatnot. There's just different consequences to your choices. You choose to keep avoiding the things and filling the void with addictive and coping mechanisms and things like that. You will just keep going as you have been going. And if you, I want to say, finally turn the cards around, turn the tables around, then you will indeed find that progress that you feel that is kind of like being pushed away from you. And honestly, I feel like even though you feel a lot like people around you are not seeing you, and they're not understanding you, they're not hearing you, there's a level in which you're perpetrating this, and you're kind of like being closed into your own little like glass fortress, is the word that just came to mind. And there's definitely a way in which you might be pushing people away. I'm still getting, like, as I say these things, it's very clear to me, like, just tuning into your energy, that you're not exactly aware, that you don't see these ways in which you're doing it very clearly yet, or at least maybe sometimes you've had like some glimpses of it, but most of the time you're like, no, like that's not true, I'm not doing that. Because honestly, like, I just heard, take a long, painful look in the mirror. And that's the thing, healing is not pleasant, in the sense that we have to look at all the things that we are doing that are negative, both for ourselves and our outsides, and like our connections. It's way easier to blame others, even though it hurts to say like, oh, you're being mean to me, and look at all the ways in which you are hurting me. It is more painful, especially to the ego. It is a lot more painful and hard to look at directly all the ways in which we are kind of like hurting ourselves and in which we are impeding all the things that we desire to come into our lives. There's definitely also a feeling of like lack of abundance. Perhaps like financial struggles might have been issues for you too, because I'm seeing the Five of Pentacles right now in my head. There's a lot of stuck emotions and a lot of stuck emotions that you have put away. There might even be some things that your memory has completely erased from you, and I'm not saying that you should like retrieve those things, because you know the mind does that for a reason. But if you have been considering some like guided therapies and guided sessions with professionals, then that might be definitely a good idea whenever you're ready, if you're ready for that. But yeah, there's definitely an invitation here of like explore your mind and your consciousness and your emotions, especially your womb. You don't have to be a woman or be very feminine, because again, I'm getting a lot of masculine energy, but that's probably something that is indeed coming up here, is that feminine rage. I'm getting that feminine rage and just your emotions seated within your sacral chakra. They're kind of in the shadows. Like there's not a lot of connection with the sacral chakra. I just heard the word neglect, so that might be definitely your most neglected chakra, if that makes sense. Let me see. There's definitely great things that you're here to do, Pile 2. And there definitely might have something to do with like helping others to heal and leading the way for other people to heal themselves, and just like being in charge of just being a guide for people, essentially. Imparting your wisdom and supporting people physically in their journeys and in their sessions and their experiences, whatever type of work it is that you do. I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I didn't. Maybe I did, but I wasn't clear enough. I'm being kind of like invited to mention it again. You might be definitely someone who is, I spat on one of my cards. I'm so sorry. There's definitely this invitation for me right now from your guides to mention again like herbs and natural remedies and things like that. You might often feel like other people are kind of pushing you down, and you might feel small in front of other people, although your appearance might tell people otherwise. Like people might just be like, oh yeah, you don't even struggle because you're so strong. Like you don't even you don't have to worry about anything because you get things done, and like you don't need anyone because you're so resourceful and you're so capable, and look at you, you're so awesome and so cool and so like empowered. You might also, probably some of you will resonate with this. You might have a very like physical, like a very muscular physical body, if that makes sense. Like a very, very athletic physical body. You might have a Kapha dominant. I'm getting Kapha and Pitta right now. Well, that's logical. That makes a lot of sense, because those are for those of you who are into Ayurveda, you know what that is. But it's basically a body type dominated by earth, fire, and air. So yeah, those three elements, especially fire and earth. Because yeah, that was another thing. It's like this root chakra plus crown chakra element. It's like you're very in tune with the earth, like the consciousness of the earth, but also very, very much in tune with the whole spiritual aspect of life, of consciousness. I'm getting for a lot of you, you still haven't gotten a clear grasp on what this all is, which I mean no one does, because that's the whole freaking point. We're just like little silly humans, you know, trying to figure it all out. That's literally what we're here to do. We're embodying the creative. We're the physical manifestation of the creative aspect of source consciousness, and we're literally just like the universe trying to figure itself out. We are the universe as it finds out about itself. Like, you know, when we are studying cells and understanding cells, we're like a bunch of cells trying to understand cells. That is literally what is happening, which is pretty funny if you think of it. You might, this is a very specific message for some of you. You might recently have had some messages from either like a spirit guide or like some type of entities during like either like, you know, a trip or something, or during meditation or during dreams. And there might have been significant messages in there. You might definitely being invited to pay attention to your dreams and like write down your dreams, because that's also a very good method of kind of letting your body do the, you know, the processing and healing, like emotional healing by itself, because dreams are essentially just like processing of emotions, and every single part of like everything that happens in a dream, every like thing and person present, like every element present in a dream is a part of us. So you don't even have to like sit in meditation, like do shadow work and whatever, go to therapy. Like that's if you just pay attention to your dreams. That is kind of like free healing while you're like sleeping or something. I think that's all that I'm getting for now. Let me sit with this another couple seconds to see if I need to mention anything else. Oh, yeah. There's definitely this frustration, which I've been trying to get for a little bit now since I started this pile, but there's definitely this frustration at your connections with people. And there might be from your standpoint being a lot of like, not even a lot of, because I feel like a lot of it is internal, because you don't really, you're very hard to read for other people. Like there's an immense, huge, vast world inside of you that people haven't seen. And that's because you might have a lot of struggle with that. This is also all about communication with compassion and listening and there might be this expectation from you for other people to listen to you, but the question that is arising here is like that you should be paying attention is, are you willing to listen to others too? You feel like people don't see your perspectives, but are you willing to see other people's perspectives and validate those perspectives and not just dismiss them because they're different than yours? There's definitely a need. Like there's this frustration, this I want to say repressed anger that you're feeling towards other people and towards your connections. Know that this frustration is yours and it's coming from within you. It's not that people are actually like, people can trigger it, but it's nothing that people are putting in for you. It's nothing that they have given you. Like this frustration and this anger like comes from you. And it might like need to find external causes and external things to point that frustration on, like to blame that frustration on and to be like, oh, I exist as frustration and it's your fault and this is because this is why I'm frustrated. But the truth is this frustration and this anger is just something that is completely yours, and whatever people on the outside of you are doing or saying that is triggering that frustration, they're just mirrors. They're just triggers to show you that you have that frustration and the anger within you. And it's really up to you to work with your own frustration, your own anger. Like you can't expect, oh, that's another thing. You can't expect other people to change. The only thing that you can truly do, that you truly have control and power over, is what you do with your own emotions. And no, this does not mean suppress your frustration, suppress your anger. That is not what we're saying. And I know that you might be like, okay, but what do I do it then? That's your journey to figure out. That's your journey to figure out. And this is definitely one of the messages. That's literally like, you have to recognize that this emotion that you're feeling, like your anger and your frustration, your pain, your sadness, your hurt, they're your emotions, and other people can trigger them. They can reflect them back at you, but they're your emotions. And other people are not in charge of them. Sure, other people can influence your emotions, but they're not, like, you're in charge of your emotions, and you're in charge of kind of, I feel like you don't like, and obviously, you're not to blame, but you don't like your anger and your frustration. You feel really angry and frustrated at the part of you that is angry and frustrated. So for instance, if you see other people on the outside of you being angry and frustrated, you might just like be kind of judgmental towards them. You like, look at that person being all like effed up and shit. I'm getting this message like you should try to befriend and be nice to your frustration and your anger and bring understanding to them. Because they're literally parts of you, and when you're hiding or suppressing parts of you, that's literally what you're doing. Like you're making yourself small. You're not owning up to that part of you that is trying to give you a very important message. because that's essentially what emotions are. They're here to give us messages about ourselves and about our life and about so that's definitely one specific message already about what to do about the situation. It's listen to your emotion and what they have to tell you and let them guide you the way. Don't take your emotions as the ultimate true reality of everything. But they're like messengers. And they have very important information for you. I'm getting this image of kind of like life pulling you into a specific direction, but you being kind of like, no, I don't want to go that way. And then you kind of like resist that, and you resist that, but it doesn't work because life keeps pulling you that way. Like if you have been hearing certain like names of certain places or like names of certain people or something, and you have been like, your memory has been bringing up specific things that you don't like or that you don't want to look into, that's probably also one of the things that is keeping you stuck, in the sense that you have been receiving all these messages from the universe about go here, do that, reconnect with this person, like whatever it is, and you have been kind of like ignoring that. Then you're literally just like unaligning yourself. You can see clearly life being like, okay, this is the direction in which we're going. You're like, no, I want to go the other way. I don't know what the other way is, but I definitely don't want to go that way. So there's a lot of resistance to your own path, which is not easy energy to go through, pile 2. That's definitely, it's not an easy ride. It has been a very, very challenging and bumpy ride. But, you know, when they say God chooses its strongest warriors for its toughest battles. And I know we're all collectively tired of being God's strongest soldiers. But, you know, someone's got to do that. Anyways, what does pile 2 have to do about the situation? Which direction should pile 2 go into to find relief, to find some healing, to find... Do we take all of these? Do we take all of these? Yeah, we're taking all of these. Okay, so we have all of these in reverse. We have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. We have Temperance in reverse. And we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Well, so this is very interesting, because this is just reiterating kind of... First of all, even though people feel like you're doing super fine, like you also definitely might be someone who's like kind of conventionally attractive, or like have some very conventionally attractive traits to your body, to your physical aspect. So people might just assume that you're very confident and you're very happy in your body and you're very happy in like that you're very successful and very abundant in your work, whatever it is. But deep down, you have this deep-rooted sense of, I keep hearing lack. This deep sense of lack, which is about a lot of things, about finance, about love, about understanding, about connections. So you might, for instance, if certain connections are not going exactly the way that you want a connection to look like, then you feel like that connection is not going to work out. So if there's like one thing that is not aligned with you, then you're like, oh yeah, well, this is probably just not a person for me. You might be definitely someone who's very quick with kind of cutting people off, like blocking people out of your life on social media and things like that. Although it wouldn't also surprise me if you guys were a little bit more of the hermit type of, like, live in the middle of the forest with like in a cabin or something like that with chickens and goats and all those things. I mean, you could still have social media, but to put it simply, you lack a lot of self-confidence. Like you often don't believe in yourself, and that's why you work so freaking hard, which it's very contradicting energy, because on the one side you procrastinate a lot on a lot of things and you avoid a lot on a lot of things, and on the other side you're so dedicated to like a lot of different things. And I feel like no matter how much progress you make, like even especially like with working out or things like that, or like your job, your finances, no matter how much progress you make, you might feel like it's never enough. And that's your mentality. It's not that literally it's that your body isn't good enough, or that your own ability to express yourself, that your whatever it is, like your art, whatever it is that you're doing, it's not that it's actually never good enough. It's that you immediately, right in the second, which again, it's a very normal human thing, and there is also a very specific reason for that, but we're kind of like not harnessing this thing properly, which is you desire to get to point A. And as soon as you get to point A, you're like, okay, but now I want to go to point B. And as soon as you get to point B, you're like, oh, now I want to go to point C, which is very normal and very fair and very, very, like, it's a good thing. But we should not forget that once you have reached point A, you should not forget to look back and be like, wow, I came so fucking far already. And I'm so freaking proud of myself, and I'm going to treat myself, and I'm going to be fucking nice to myself because I deserve it, because I worked so hard. And now I'm here, and I'm definitely not where I want to be yet, but look at how far I got already. And look at how much progress I've made. Look at how much growth I've made. Because I feel like one of the things that you value the most in life is growth and just progression. Like, you can't stand the idea of being still and of being kind of like in a loop and repetitively, constantly being the same thing, and doing the same thing. I'm getting Wheel of Fortune vibes right now, which at the same time might be spinning very, very fast, and at the same time, at the other hand, it might feel like it's completely always stuck. So I feel like you're moving a lot in that sense, but you have this deep-seated feeling of like, oh, but it's like, I'm not there yet. Yes, but you're here, and here is literally the only place that you could potentially be right now to even reach that point. You have to get through all the points. You have to get through A, B, C, D, E, and so on and so forth before you arrive to Z. And honestly, there's no such thing as arriving at a Z point in your like spiritual, personal growth, healing journey. There's no such thing. There's always going to be more things to heal, to grow in and everything. But I'm babbling right now, so let's pull. I want to take one more card. Look at what is right in front of you, and at the beauty of what is right in front of you, instead of looking at all the things that you haven't gotten yet. And if you have been feeling like you need more better connections, like you have kind of given up on some connections because you felt like they gave up on you, perhaps this is your sign to reach out to them and to try to... I just cut the deck like this, and we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, which is counterparts, again, fire energy. If there is someone out there, someone very specifically, because I feel like a lot of people will have like one specific person in mind right now, which, I mean, yeah, makes sense, that you have kind of like let go of, and it felt like it was undone, like it felt like perhaps there was something more there and it didn't go well, or like there were too many fights and you just gave up or something. This is your sign that maybe not necessarily right now, but in divine timing, when the timing is right, when you both have done some inner work and inner growing and finding peace within yourselves, maybe there's also a chance to like find peace between the two of you and reconnect and I just heard be together. I did. This reading is not meant to be about things like that. I keep hearing the word twin flame, which I'm very skeptical about using, because, you know, you don't need a label to know what a connection is. Like, if you know, you know, and if you need constant labeling and things like that, then, I mean, this is maybe just me being skeptical. But yeah, so that was definitely a specific message. Oh, and I discard also. Oh, 2 of Cups. Yeah. So... one more card, please. What? Please, what is this? Strength and 3 of Cups. Okay, well, that is interesting. Strength is Leo energy. Let me see if everything is on frame. Oh, the camera is not very... Oh, sorry, guys. It was a little bit skewed, but, you know. Be gentle with yourself. Enjoy silly little things. If you have been like, oh, I can't enjoy this glass of wine because alcohol is bad for you, but I really crave a beer right now, but I shouldn't, because just, if you feel like something, then just freaking go for it. And if you know that you will feel bad for it, then don't do it, but just make a freaking choice and stick with it. It doesn't have to be so hard. Like, literally, if you want to go for it, then you go for it. If you don't want to go for it, then you don't go for it, but just own up entirely to the choice that you make. And this doesn't go only for like enjoying a beer or a snack or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be so complicated. okay? You can, if you realize that you can make any choice that you want, because oftentimes it's like, oh, I can't, or like I shouldn't make the choice of this, like a beer or like a snack or whatever. It's just an example. Just the thought of like, oh, I can't do this thing makes you want to do it. And indeed, the question is like, do you want to do it? Like, it's very fair to have like goals for fitness and whatever it is. It's very fair to have that, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a punishment. Like, if you want to enjoy something, then you just go for it. If you choose to not do it because your long-term goal, your long-term goal is more important than this, right? Like short-term pleasure, then that's also completely fine. Just realize that you have the power to choose what you do at this moment. And if you're like, I want to invest in my long-term goals, then I'll go with that, and I'm happy with not taking that glass of alcohol, whatever it is. It's just a silly example. But if right now I just feel like I need a bit of comfort and I just want to enjoy a chill night by myself or with my pals, then I'm just gonna freaking do that, and that's okay. Like, you know, be gentle with yourself and realize that you have more power over yourself and over your life than you give yourself credit for. Okay, where does this one go? The Chariot. Where does this one go? I feel like it wants to go here. Here? It doesn't really matter. Okay, so what about this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, please? So that's Cancer energy. So we have the Emperor, the Six of Swords, and the Lovers. Yeah. Oh, and we also have the Nine of Cups, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Six of Pentacles. So there's definitely, some of you might have been doing a lot of work on yourself after a relationship or some type of really important connection to you kind of like either didn't go through or ended poorly. And that is great because there is progress both individually and both within this type of connection. Whatever progress it is, if you guys haven't been speaking to each other at all, there still is progress. Like behind the scenes, your guides and the universe, it's taking care of things. Y'all are taken care of. There's definitely this message of you need to take care of yourself first, and you need to be kinder to yourself. That is literally one of the main things that is coming through. Two of Cups again. You will find a lot. I feel like you're very hard on yourself. That's the thing. That is the whole vibe that I was getting from this entire thing. You're so freaking hard on yourself, Pile 2. And you would be surprised, like you would love for other people to like show you affection and show you sweetness and show you gentleness. But at the same time, when people try to do that, you're kind of like, you might get uncomfortable because you're like, oh, but I don't deserve this. Or like, oh, don't worry about me. Like, oh, I'm fine. Like, you know, don't worry about me. And I got myself. And like, you feel like it's a waste of time to be gentle and soft and patient and everything. Because you're like, I need to get there. I need to do better. I need to grow. I need to... And the thing is, once you realize that it's all a process, there's no end goal, there's no arrival point, there is no much more growth to be done than what you're already doing and than where you already got. Because you will always be growing. And since you will always be growing and always be progressing, you will never be satisfied if you keep feeling like it isn't enough where you have right now and where you're at right now. You feel like it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. But once you find a way to fucking chill and be gentle with yourself and extend that softness to yourself that you kind of truly need, I feel like you might have a lot of difficulties with accepting softness and gentleness and compassion because you're like, I don't know, maybe you grew up in a very harsh environment or something like that. There's definitely an invitation of taking a moment to sit still and look at, again, how far you got and to really find specific, concrete reasons to be proud of yourself for. And you don't have to make them up and be like, oh, I'm proud of myself for making this amount of money or for doing this and that when you don't truly feel like that. But look for those things that you truly, genuinely feel proud of yourself for. Also, perhaps like make a list of things that you love yourself for, like things that you love about yourself. Because with this Emperor energy, that's Aries, by the way. Aries, we have Aries, Cancer, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Leo showing up right now here specifically. There is a lot of joy and progress and satisfaction and internal peace, and I'm seeing like a very bright smile right now. So contentness and happiness to be found in just enjoying silly little things in life, just like your morning coffee or like a morning cigarette, whatever it is. It's like those small little things, and like enjoying the presence of your pet, or like enjoying just very simple time with your friends and your loved ones. Like you might definitely also have been struggling with this feeling of like, oh, if I am with my friends, I need to be doing something productive. Like we need to be doing like escalating a mountain or something. But you might feel uncomfortable with like just chilling on the beach, or just like sitting down on the grass and talking about silly little things. Like it might have been so far that you have expected or desired for your connections and your meetings with people to always be either productive, or like talking about big ideas, or like talking about very deep important things. But the thing is, if everything in life would have to be so serious and so deep and so intense all the time, it would be exhausting. It would be so exhausting, my dudes. There's definitely a specific message about there is so much joy to be found, and so much joy and satisfaction and happiness and presence and grounding to be found in the silly little things, such like small talk and smiling at a stranger on the street, and just being with a flower on the grass, and then looking at ants walking and crawling, whatever it is. Yeah, I feel like that's it for now, pile 2. Let me take some advice cards for you to close this all off. This is the Rose Oracle by Omega Candle. Let me see if we're still rolling. Yeah, we still have... Okay, so I recently found out that my camera stops filming at 25 minutes. I don't know why, because I can still film 2 videos of 25 minutes, so it's not that storage is up, but it's like, whatever. I'll try to keep this part under like 3 minutes, so I'm sure it doesn't cut off. Anyways, what advice to close out? Final advice do we have? Okay, I feel like I need to take this off. Brothers of the Rose, sacred masculine honor, protection, support. This is definitely calling you in to find support in fellow males, fellow, well, not necessarily males. Wow, that sounded very horrible of me. So finding support in people with a lot of strong masculine energy, and specifically people who have kind of like a very healthy expression of masculine energy, because again, there was a lot of masculine energy here, and we had the Emperor as well, which is a lot about, well, which is basically the divine sacred masculine, the earth counterparts, and the magician, which is like the, you know, the 5D masculine energy. But definitely, like, if you're feeling called to like go to like men's circles or things like that, if that even exists like near to you, then that's definitely something that you should look into. Like, find support within masculine type of energies from people around you, and men, and just people with masculine energies. Sophia, divine plan, wisdom, intelligence within destiny. So there's a lot about, you have a lot of wisdom within yourself, and you probably know this to an extent. And there's something very specific that you're here to do, and if you have found it, then just keep going in that direction. And if you have been finding like resistance, don't worry, because you're going into that direction. There's no way that this destiny of yours, that this dharma of yours is going to leave you. Like, it doesn't work like that. In this lifetime, you're meant to be going in a specific direction, and you're going there at your own pace. No matter how much you fight it, you're still going there. So don't worry, like, one step at a time, you will get there, and you're right where you need to be. You're not in a hurry, okay? So this, this card is from another deck. Where are we gonna take that deck to? You're right where you need to be with your flaws and your unhealed wounds and your frustration and your anger. This is perfect right now. It's literally where you need to be. Don't worry about that. One step at a time, and you will get where you need to be going. What more advice do we have for pile. 2, please. We're gonna take these 2. We're just gonna take these 2. So we have morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. A song that I wrote myself is coming into mind. It's not released yet, so I'm not going to spoil the lyrics. I say as if I'm a fucking, like, a recording artist. I'm not. Anyways. Yeah, positive outlook. Like, try to be a little bit more optimistic, pile 2. I feel like that is the sun, but oh, that what the hell? The sun, joy, enjoyment, life for success, vitality, play. Exactly. Final play. Yeah, just do things because you enjoy doing them. They don't have to have like a specific purpose, or it doesn't have to be useful what you do. If you just enjoy a morning stretch, like if you do yoga and things like that, it doesn't have to be purposeful. You just have to be able to enjoy what you're doing. Perhaps that's also indeed like a thing. Like if you have been doing things, forcing yourself to either get movement in or indeed like eat healthy, and it hasn't been satisfying to you, it's probably because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like if you eat fruit, it's because you crave the juicy, healthy, electric vibes of the fruit, not because you think that it's going to be healthy for your bowels or whatever. Like if you don't enjoy it, if you don't truly enjoy it, then there's no freaking point because you're still working against yourself. Yeah. Okay. So we have the 7 star sisters. My dudes, I don't know. We have brothers and sisters here, so there's definitely, oh wow. Wow, so many things. Birth and creations, tapestry of life, expression. There's definitely some type of creative endeavor that wants to come through you, and I feel very strongly called to say it doesn't have to be like art or like music or literally just like creative in that sense. There's something that needs to be birthed through you. It might be a project, it might be a business, it might be a course, a coaching thing, whatever it is. There's something seated within you that you have to like bring out into the world and manifest it into the physical world, because you have so much to give and so much that is wanting to be birthed through you. Does that make sense? And if you don't know exactly what that is fine. You're on your way to figure that out. The more you work on yourself, the more you expand and grow and be gentle with yourself, and follow your own heart and intuition, and heal and bring about change in one way or another. The more you will figure out how to do, like, whatever it is that your purpose is just going to be like the result of your life's work. You can only birth this type of creation that you're meant to be bringing out into the world by taking one step after another, putting one foot after another, and just going, just keep going, essentially. Starkeeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. Yes, girl. Again, ancient soul. I feel like I've already said these things. Ancient soul, there's something that wants to be birthed through you. Yes. Double mission, light worker, stars. So there's a lot of cards. This is the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and this is the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and we have a lot of cards wanting to come out from this deck. So definitely a lot of cosmic energy, if you will. Ancient, very highly spiritual energy. We have double mission, light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. Literally already said this, don't have to add anything. This card also reminds me of the ley lines. All paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. Yes. Again, anytime that you're experiencing a problem with the outside world, with anyone on the outside of yourself, ask yourself, how am I causing this thing? What is it within me that is causing this problem? And this is not to say that you're the only one to blame, that other people are completely saints and that they're not to blame for anything. No, it's always 50-50. We always bring about situations, like, especially the people that we're close with and that we get super triggered by, like, you will notice that if you get triggered by a person, they will likely get triggered in return. And that's because the universe brings people together whose demons dance very well together, so that these demons and shadows can be kind of like mirrored back at each other. So definitely, anytime that you're frustrated at someone or at something, then ask yourself, what is it inside of me that is telling me this thing? Yeah. Lost lands, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Yeah, so if you were looking for confirmation about that, again, without the need of too many labels, if you know, somewhere you know, even if your logical brain doesn't know, doesn't have to understand it, it will make sense, like humanly, brainly speaking. But pile 2, are we still rolling? Yes, we are. Pile 2, thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I really hope that this reading helped you get some clarity about whatever it is that you feel so stuck and lost about in life right now. And I believe in you so much. Literally, there's so much freaking power right inside of you. There's the power of 1,000 suns shining within you, and I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but that's what this reading needed to be closed up with. Thank you so much for being here. Definitely feel free to leave a comment down below, as it means everything to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. And also feel free to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps with the algorithm. And thank you so much for watching. And I saw the number 999 again. You're going to be fine, Patu. I fucking love you. Bye bye. See you in the next one. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this beautiful little clear quartz cluster crystal heart thingy, as well as the Modern Goddesses Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about why are you stuck currently or feeling blocked in life and what to do about it. So consider this being kind of like your higher self or your spirit guides coming through to you with basically just highlighting what you're currently going through and what needs working. Let me see. If you see, I'm wearing a blanket because it's fucking cold. I'll try to not let it show too much because it might be a little distracting. Anyways, yeah, consider just your spirit guides or your higher self coming through to you, highlighting some things that you might be currently struggling with or dealing with. Some things about yourself, potentially your own shadow that might need your attention and your loving light. I said loving light, not love and light, by the way. Anyways, what we're going to do is first we're going to do a little bit of an energy check, and you guys got way more cards than any other pile. Don't tell them. I mean, it's not a bad or good thing. It just means that there's a lot of stuff going on. And then afterwards we're going to take the tarot to dive a little bit more in depth about what to do about this situation. So first, in this first oracle part of the reading, you should be able to find your own energy, and if not, then it's probably not your pile. And that's completely fine. And at the end of this pile, we're also going to take some advice as we did for the other piles. But without further ado, let's see what we have here for you. Describing your energy, we have the god Loki with play. I'm gonna scoop this to the side because I'm gonna take that after because we have a lot of cards. Then we have the 5th house. And we have Pluto. Then we also have the Green Man and Moss Agate with the Earth Element, Ritual and Ceremony, New Spirit Guides, Tree Wisdom. Then we have Sweetness. We have Faith. We also have number 41 or 5 with Synergy. The frequency of Synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. Full stop. I never can see the little, there's a dot there and I can barely see it, so it's very confusing every time because I just keep reading, but it's the end of the sentence. Anyways, it reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Then we also have 2 of these cards. First one is Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. And Worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change the outcome, or an outcome, this card says. And last but not least, we have number 15, Build and Breaks, Saunter Slowly. Now, I must say this energy is quite similar to another one of the piles that I did. I'm not going to say which one because you will know if you felt called to another pile. Just feel free to check them out all. If you felt called to them all, it's very normal. Like, it's very plausible to feel called to multiple piles. As per usual, one reading will never, ever, ever be able to show or to be all encompassing of like a situation, energy, person, or connection. That's just not a thing. Every reading will only ever just highlight one specific aspect of something. So always keep that in mind. But yeah, we have the number 5, which is kind of recurring here. We have number 5 and number 6. Leo energy, we have Pluto, which is ruler of Scorpio, and we have Earth. So Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus might be relevant. Doesn't have to be astrologically relevant. You guys might be into things like gardening and herbalism and working with plants and working with like flowers. I'm seeing like a florist. This is not going to resonate for everyone, obviously. But there is this energy. The first thing that I heard while pulling your cards was like, you take yourself so seriously, pile 3. And it's not a bad thing. But it's also maybe sometimes you take it a little bit to the extreme in which you forget to laugh back at life. Like if there's this sense of like when people make a joke or when there's lightness going on or like small talk and things like that, you just can't enjoy because you're like, you miss the seriousness of things. Again, very similar message to something that was present in another pile. But there's definitely this element of frustration because life is not going into the direction that you want it to go, or at least it's not going as fast as you would want it to go. Also wouldn't surprise me if you had any like Taurus or also Aries, specifically Aries moon placements perhaps, or Leo moon I'm hearing right now. There was already some like advice straight ahead coming through for you, which is you need to find the lightness, the light side, the bright side of life a little bit more. And this is not to say that if you're sad, you should pretend to be happy, which I mean, okay, I will come back to that later, but it's more to say, don't take everything and yourself and the people around you so freaking seriously. Like when a problem occurs, it's not the end of the world. Like if there's a solution, you go into work and take all the steps towards a solution. If there's no solution, then there's no point in worrying anyways. Indeed, with this worry card, like there's a lot about change. Like we have the 5th house, number 5 is number of like sudden changes and upheaval and disruption and just very significant changes. I'm hearing there has been like a very lengthy change, kind of like unraveling like a almost like a wave type of thing. That's what I'm seeing in my head. And you've been kind of frustrated at that, or like maybe small things keep happening and you're like, what? Like it's kind of like law of Murphy. So like if something can go wrong, it likely will go wrong. And perhaps you have this mindset indeed that is kind of like creating this reality for yourself in which you're like, oh, if something can go wrong, then it certainly will. Kind of like always looking at the dark side of things, kind of always looking at how things might go wrong and worrying so much about it, and kind of like micromanaging, be it like your connections, or I'm getting like a study or your career or whatever it is, because you're trying to steer everything into a very specific direction. But it's almost like you're fighting against the current, you're fighting against the flow of life. Like life has been trying to push you into a certain direction, which when that happens, it's just your being trying to get aligned with its divine purpose, essentially. And when you fight that, when you're like, no, I don't want to do this thing, I don't want to like let go of this, I need to fix this thing, I need to, kind of always having to control the outcome of things and make them turn out how you imagine them, or how you want them to be. You're kind of like fighting against the current. And I feel like life, like the universe, your guides are not letting you do that, because no matter how much you try with either certain people, certain connections, or certain projects, or certain hobbies that you have, nothing seems to work. That's what I'm getting. You have this feeling you might be currently in this state in which nothing seems to work and nothing seems to make progress. Like if you have a hobby and you haven't been able to make progress, or if you have any like some connections that are just very frustrating and you can't seem to get on the same page with these people or this person, it just seems like nothing seems to work to you right now. And that is very likely accurate, pile 3. I'm not here to tell you, oh no, it's fine, like and then everything is okay, because obviously everything is not okay. Because if you landed on this reading, or if you looked for something to help you with the situation, it's very real. It's definitely very real. It's not in your head. You're not making it up. But there's a reason for that. Like it's a very fair reason. And the fact that you keep being frustrated about this, the fact that you're like, why doesn't this work? Why is this not turning out the way that I want it to? It's because it's not meant to turn out the way that you want it to. Your guides want you to open your eyes up to the fact that you might have a very narrow vision. You might have a lot of fixed place. Yeah, that's what I was getting. We do have Scorpio, we do have Leo, and I got already like Taurus energy, which are all fixed energies. The other fixed energy is in astrology is Aquarius. You might specifically have a fixed moon. There's definitely this element that your guides are kind of trying to highlight to you, which, I mean, that's what they have been doing all along, with kind of like not making things go through as you want them to, or as you feel like you need them to, which is stop trying to micromanage everything. So there's a card in the Starseed Oracle that is about micromanaging. I'm curious to see if it will come out later. Maybe not, because we're making the point right now, but it's like you have kind of like this tunnel vision of, I want this connection to be exactly like this, I want myself to be exactly like this, and I want my career to be exactly like this. And you're kind of like hyper fixated on those things. There's not much leeway for the universe to come through to you with bigger and better things, or like with new things, or like with new opportunities, because you're so fixated on the few things that you have in your head. And your guides really want you to kind of realize that, I just heard an explosion. I hope that was firework or something and not something else. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, your silly little human brain is just a very, very tiny limited portion of existence. Like, your brain, which is strongly tied to your ego as well, it will always try to control things and to like understand everything and to like make things go, to make things on the outside of you fit the inner vision that you have of things. And your ego and your brain will always try to... It's like the universe knows better, my dudes. The universe knows better. And if certain things are not working, it just means that it's just not meant to work, because there's something better, or something that is more fit, or something that will bring you more joy out there. If you have been like having a block in creativity, or a block in like the progress that you're making with your art, or with like your music, or with your writing, or with like a block on reading or something, whatever it is that you have been having practical blockages with, then it just means that you should stop trying to force to make that thing happen. Leave that thing be for as long as you need to, until the moment that you truly feel inspired again to pick that thing up. Because it's like you find a way to like have a hobby, or have a passion, or like find a person that you really like and enjoy being with, and then you make it so serious that you kind of like make it a project, instead of going into that thing or into that connection just for the pure sake of enjoying it. And that can be a problem, because you lose the lightness and the brightness and the joy of things, and the joy of connections. Things don't have to be perfect. Things really, really do not have to be perfect. And now I'm getting Virgo vibes specifically. You might have Mars Virgo. Getting specifically now, it doesn't have to be astrologically relevant for everyone, obviously. Take, for instance, like if you are into gardening, great. Just take that as a very practical example. But even if you're not into those things, like I'm getting the quote right now, and that goes along the lines of like, nature doesn't rush anything, and still it gets everything accomplished right on time, or something like that. And that is literally what your guides want you to see about yourself right now. They want you to let go, which is not every single person. Like, humanity is just defined kind of by this need and this urge to control things, and the refusal to let go of things. So that is a problem at large. Like, that, it's not necessarily a problem per se, but it's just a defining characteristic of humans. So don't feel bad about it. Like, every single person that you know probably has struggles with control in one way or another, in more covert or overt ways. Like anxiety, that also comes from the need of controlling things. There's a need to... I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune right now. I feel like I also saw that in the previous pile, or like one of the previous piles. But allow things to move as slowly as they need to. Like, you don't need to have everything done right away, right now, in this specific way. Otherwise, it means that it's never going to happen. there's this invitation to tune more into with the cycles of your own being. I'm getting, if you're not into astrology at all, then that might be a good thing for you to watch, to look into, because it will give you a lot of clarity and a lot of insight. And I mean, astrology is not a defining thing. It's not like that you're doomed to these characteristics and these aspects and these transits or whatever. It's just a tool for understanding things. That's what astrology is. It's just one other way to understand and make sense of things, and yourself and people. And the universe is really inviting you to find a little bit more faith in, first and foremost, in yourself and in others as well. Like, trust. Like, you might be, I'm getting Virgo Venus right now. I'm getting, you might have a tendency to want, like, as soon as somebody is like in trouble, or as soon as somebody is like sad or whatever, or if they have some type of problem, you might want them, like, internally inside of yourself, you might find yourself wanting them to fix that right away. If they're sad, you're like, oh no, come up, like, come on, like, you can do it, like, cheer up, and all those things. And you have the best of intentions, because of course you care about people, and you want things to be good. You want people to be well. You want things to be well. But there's this sense of, like, you don't trust that they will get through it just fine, and that people just need to feel their emotions at this time, and that they need to go through struggles. Like, there's always going to be struggles. I'm hearing cats fight. Is it my cat? Okay, wait a second, pile 3. Okay, so I just went to check, and it was not my cat. I definitely heard cats fighting, but it was not mine, so not my responsibility. And that also leads me to, okay, little anecdote, which I thought of right now when I was coming back to this reading. My cat, years ago, and this is relevant, stay with me. My cat, years ago, he went outside, and he wasn't used to going outside at that time. And what happened was that basically he just, obviously don't know what happened, because he got lost. He didn't come back for like 2 days or something like that. I was super worried. I was like crying and bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh my God, what if he's dead? And what if he can't survive out there? And oh my God. Turns out that he came back like in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. one night while I was sleeping, and he was like meowing at my window. So he did find his way back. But he had hurt his leg. Like, it wasn't bleeding or anything. There was nothing. Maybe he fell or something. I don't know what happened, but he just had injured his leg. And what happened is that he, for like, maybe like a few weeks, he was just inside, and he didn't go outside again because his leg was hurting. And his inner guidance system, as everyone has, it just told him to, like, rest. And that's what he did. And he didn't want my other cat to, like, go near him, because he was like, I just need my space to heal, and I just need to just lay here and drink my water and nap and just chill out. And that's what he did. He just, like, laid in like very small corners of the house, and like either the closet or like under the table or something like that. And he was just resting. And I was so worried. I was like, oh my God, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should try and help him to, like, walk or something. And then there was this other side of me that was like, no, he knows what he's doing. He's clearly resting, and just trust that it will be fine. And, like, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, well, shit like that happens. Like, cats just, they have cat fights and everything, and then sometimes they get hurt. And in the moment, it's very scary, like, oh my God, I need to do something. But in hindsight, it's like, I couldn't have done anything, literally, and that was bound to happen. And he learned something from it, and he grew. And that's the same thing for people. Like, this story could literally be, it's an allegory, okay? It did happen. But it was definitely, like, a good life lesson for me, because that's what I'm talking about here. Like, you might feel like you need to micromanage and, like, help everyone and take control of every situation, and, like, give your all to every single situation and thing in person and show them the way. And, like, there's definitely a stubbornness to you, for sure. And there's definitely this message about, you feel like sometimes you need to fix things that are not yours to fix. And sometimes you want people to heal faster, and even yourself, and then things to go faster than they are going, which is also literally just not in your control, and it's not your job to do that. And And there's also with this regret, I know that I cannot change the past. Oh, this is very interesting. This is like about the past, and this is about an outcome. So like there's this... this is so interesting. So this is, I know that I cannot change the past, and this other card is like, I'm learning that worry doesn't change the outcome. So like the future, like me worrying and me thinking about how, all the ways that I could, that things could go wrong and all the ways that I could do things better. It's not going to change either the past or the future. The only thing that you truly have focus on is you in the present right now. And it's you, nothing else outside of you. It's you and what you do with yourself right now in the present. And that's all that you truly can worry about, if that makes sense. Change happens. The only constant in life is change. Change is bound to happen, and it's uncomfortable, and it's just really uncomfortable, but it's really just a part of life. And the more you resist it, the more you go against yourself, the less you help yourself, essentially. So there's definitely, it's a very hard thing to do, to like find peace with and acceptance for change. But it's really something that we as humans could benefit a lot from, because change is, again, it's bound to happen, and it's the only constant in life. There's also already this invitation to be open to see what life and people and situations have to offer to you. Because again, just because things are not going your way doesn't mean that they're not good enough, or that they're not great, or that they're not... I'm gonna read this card again because it just explains it very loving. I just read the word loving in here very, very well. This is a card of synergy. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. And that's also to say, like, if you always feel like you kind of have to take charge of like your connections or like projects that you do with other people, because you might be afraid that other people don't do a as well job as you do, your guys are kind of already inviting you very lovingly to take yourself off of the pedestal and just trust that other people have their resources and their passions and talents as well. Like, you might be very talented and very good at certain things, and other people just might be very complimentary to you and just like add in other things and new perspectives and new things that you might be lacking in. And that's how indeed you can co-create something that is way better than just the additional sum of the individual parts. If that makes sense. What is it? The total is more than the sum of the individual parts, or something like that. There's also definitely an invitation to connect with trees. Take that as it resonates. Yeah, do with that information what thou wilt. Anyways, we are going to look into the tarot right now, because I feel like there was not much else coming through. And again, I feel like if you felt called to another pile, or like both of the other piles, then definitely that is a very clear sign that there might be something there for you. This is the Modern Goddesses deck, which I recently got, and I freaking adore it. It's so cute, and I love it with my entire being. Okay, so what should pile 3 do or pay attention to or know in order to grow out of this situation and overcome this situation, please? This might have definitely been a little bit more of a tough love, like a kind of like a harsher type of message. Oh, we have the Nine of Swords. Don't be so hard on yourself, pile 3, because stress, definitely keep your stress in check. And breathe, find some way to relax and be nice to yourself. Don't be so strict. I'm hearing, especially with the things that you eat, don't be so strict on yourself, because that is also like being very strict and hard on yourself gives you more stress than you would like to admit. Like, the way that you treat yourself, you allow, at the end of the day, of course, like, we can be stressed because of like external circumstances and external things and things that people say to us and things that happen and everything, but at the end of the day, we're in charge of our own body and our own minds and our own selves. And And there's a lot of different, of course, I'm not discrediting, like, if you have been having a hell of a stressful time, then that's completely fair. And of course, it's easier said than done. But there's definitely an invitation here to make sure that your basic needs are met. So, like, comfort, allow yourself for some comfort and, like, nourishing food, but also food that you enjoy, and sleep. Like, sleep is so important. You might definitely, I always say every single person I know has sleep issues in our generation. So we are, well, our generation. I'm 26 currently. It doesn't have to, you know, whatever. But I'm always saying, like, this is a generation of sleep deprived people. We ain't sleeping so well out there, which is not great. It's not great at all. Sleep is one of the most important things, because sleep is when you process, literally just like, it's like free healing. It's like effort free healing, because your body just catches up everything and like detoxifies, like, and then dreaming is like processing of emotion. So it's literally so freaking important. Anyways. We also have death, Scorpio energy coming through again, and we also have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, there's definitely this very, very similar energy. I'll stop saying that, but very similar energy to a previous pile. There's this sense of, these cards came out together, and indeed that, like, they were, that there's a good reason for that. But there's definitely this feeling of lack mentality, and of like lack of feeling like you have succeeded in things, and feeling like things are never good enough, and like this worry about oh, things are not going to, like, this worry about indeed like the outcome of things, and like, oh my god, what if it's not going to be as great as I need it to be, or like, what if it's not going to be good enough. And especially also you might feel worried that people might not give to you as much as you deserve. There's definitely this feeling of, how do I put this into words? I just heard the word undeserving. Perhaps you have been giving to people who were undeserving or something like that. There's a lot of bitterness towards your connections and the people around you, for sure. But your guides really want you to extend the type of love and compassion and care and attention and energy that you would like to be given to you. Extend that to others first. Like, you should be the one to embody that very energy that you want to receive. Because truthfully, how you think of others and what you do to others and how you treat others is, at the end of the day, how you treat yourself and what you do to yourself. And vice versa. The way that you treat yourself eventually is, like, shows up in the way that you treat others as well. If you have been kind of judgmental and harsh towards others, it just very likely means that you've been judgmental towards things that you judge within yourself about yourself. Does that make sense? I'm just spitting words at this point. My brain is not braining. This is just coming out of me. But there's definitely this invitation to be nicer and sweeter to yourself, and try to be also extending that compassion and loving energy and niceness and gentleness and kindness towards others. Yeah, because if that is something that you feel called to, or that you need more in your life, is more like more genuine connections and just connection in general, then you should be the first one to be open to that and to create that. Because if you're closed off to it, if you just assume that people on the outside of you don't want to connect in the same way, then it's never going to happen. And allow for things. There's, again, this death is all about transformation, all about things ending and things. Oh, okay. So there's a very specific scenario that is coming through for a very specific select few of you. For some of you, this might have been something that has happened in the past, and you're still thinking about that or still heard about that, or it might be something that you're afraid might happen in the future. See, there's again this like lack of presence, this worrying about the past and about the future. But there's definitely this feeling of this case scenario that indeed might again be something that happened in the past, or something that you're afraid might happen, or something that you're currently going through. You act in a way that you feel like others might expect you to act. So like you act either like always happy, or like always in charge of things, always like, oh no, I got this, no problem, like I've got my shit together, I'm doing fine, I'm doing great, even when that's not true. but that leaves you incredibly unsatisfied, and then you're worried that people might leave you as soon as you do show some weakness or show some sadness. And people leaving you is going to make you feel absolutely like yeah, you're just kind of wondering about how that would end eventually, and how that would make you feel. And that's definitely one of the main fears that is coming through for you, and you haven't really allowed yourself to feel through those things. I feel like this pile is a little bit chaotic, so if my words are coming out very chaotic and very messy, that's reflective of this energy. And when I say people leaving you, like, abandonment comes in very different forms. It doesn't literally have to mean that someone is like, okay, I don't ever want to talk to you again, and just walks out the door and never shows up again. Abandonment is whenever someone tells you, oh, don't be sad. So, which again is something that you might have been doing to yourself, something that you likely have been doing to yourself, very likely. And perhaps also to others. When someone is struggling and they tell them, oh, don't be sad, or just get over it, that's abandonment. When someone says, oh, I'm feeling like this because of that, and the other person is like, oh yeah, but there's no reason to, like, you shouldn't feel like that, or oh, it's gonna be fine, or just that bypassing, that is abandonment. Whenever someone condemns you for any part of yourself, or showing up in any way that is genuine to you, that is also abandonment. And that's how we learn how to put on masks, and how to act like not ourselves, and how to basically just pretend to be people that we're not, to fit in, to please others. That's also a very common thing. And your guides, the universe, spirit, your higher self is telling you, if people want to leave, if people don't want to see you, then let them go. If they want to leave, then they get to leave. And then it's like, thank you for, like, if I'm not good enough for you, then please leave. Like, that should be the mindset, is like, if you want to leave, then please leave. I don't want people in my life who don't want to be in my life. You want to be with people who want to be with you. Why would you want to be with people who don't want to be with you? Like, that is a legit question that I've asked myself multiple times. Like, how does this work? We're so worried about people not liking us and people leaving us. And at the end of the day, it's like, why does it matter if this specific person leaves or this specific person doesn't like us back? If you don't like me, please leave. Be my guest. There's the door. Anyways, easier said than done. There's a lot of trauma to unpack there for sure. Let's see what else do we have here for pile 3. This is the Crone of Cups, which in this deck is the King of Cups. Yeah, the King of Cups is all about having kind of mastery over your emotions, on being very, very aware and very comfortable with your emotions, but not letting them. There's still this element of clear vision, and a clear mind. It's like your emotions are very much there to guide you and to give your information, but you're not being controlled by them. You're not being ruled by your emotions. And that's the thing. Often we feel like we're slaves to our emotions. As in the same way, did I say as? I meant as. As in the same way, we might often feel like we're a slave to our brain. And the truth is, we're neither. They're both tools. They're just two sides of they're just two aspects of us, and it's not even the only two aspects of it. There's so much. There's intuition, there's faith and divine guidance, and then there's emotions indeed, and then there's willpower, and then there's rationality, and then there's our ego. It's all different parts of ourselves, and we're not bound to just one of these things. It just takes becoming aware and becoming aware of where those things come from, what they have to communicate to us. Do we take all these? I feel like we have to take only those two. I shouldn't swear in Portuguese. Or that was not Portuguese, that was Spanish. Anyways, so we also have the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. There's this give more. If you have been feeling like you're lacking either love or attention or energy or time or material objects, there's this invitation for you to actually give more. If you have been feeling lonely and feeling like people are not checking upon you, start checking on other people. Start reaching out to other people and be like, hey, how are you? Like, hey, do you want to grab a coffee or something? Let me pay you a coffee or something. And that's how you open up your heart to love. It's not by necessarily by receiving it, by opening up to receiving it, because that's harder. That's a lot harder than giving love. And it should come from a genuine place. So it's not that you're like, oh, I have to give so that I give them a good impression, and I have to, you know, pay for stuff so that they think that I have my shit together, or I have to like buy them something so that they think I'm very generous. No, give because you want to give. There has to be this genuinity to it, but there's definitely also an invitation for you to become a little bit more vulnerable with people, because people, truthfully, like, you'd be surprised at how open people are to receive your energy and how vulnerable they will get in return once you open the door up for that. This card wanted to come out in reverse. Two of Swords in reverse. I believe this card is Moon in Libra. I'm not entirely sure, but what else? What about this Two of Swords, please? So we have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, there's definitely this, oh, and at the end of the bottom of the deck, we have the World. There's definitely this invitation for you to stop feeling like it has to be either the one or the other. And this doesn't have to be anything specific, but that's definitely a message that's coming through with these two cards. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose whether you're only sad or only happy today. Like, you can literally have both at the same time. You can have a lot of sadness and still be like, oh my god, I'm feeling so good by just feeling the sun on my skin, or like, oh my god, I'm so happy that I'm eating this chocolate chip cookie or something like that. You can have both, and the truth is you always will have both. Sometimes emotions will be a little bit louder, and sometimes rationality will need to be a little bit louder. Sometimes happiness will be a little bit louder, sometimes sadness will be a little bit louder. It doesn't mean that when you're sad there's no happiness to be found. It doesn't mean that when you're happy there's no sadness to be found. The thing is, we're multi-dimensional beings, and there's a lot of meanings to that in itself already. Just observe and let things... What is this? This wants to peek through. The Three of Wands. Yeah, I saw the Two of Wands earlier as well, not Three of Wands. And there's definitely this notion of take things one step at a time and see where it goes and be open to your path and to your journey. I'm hearing that song. That was literally a lyric. Oh my god, yes. Nako Bear and Medicine from the People, Medicine Songs from the People, or something like that. Love Letters to God. That song is absolutely fucking amazing. And the lyrics go something like, always give what you can, even when your allies draw lines in the sand, and dig. Always dig a little deeper. Sometimes it's hard to be your brother's keeper. Love, so you let love in. Oh my god, I love that song so much. If I remember, I will link it down below. Otherwise, just Google it or YouTube it. Nahko, Nahko, Love Letters to God. It's such a beautiful song. There might be messages in there for you. But yeah, the truth is everything is true at the same time. And this doesn't help. This probably doesn't help. But you don't have to be either one or the other thing. You don't have to micromanage. I feel like there's a lot of chaotic messages in here, and that's because that was pretty much your energy. So excuse me if my sentences don't have like a proper end and a beginning, or a beginning and an end, because that's honestly how things are coming through right now for you. But let's see, what is some final advice for pile 3 at this moment, please? Some final advice for pile 3, please. The Return, a new story, you decide, alignment, it's coming together. What did I say at the beginning about alignment? Your being is literally trying to get an alignment, and you're kind of disrupting your own alignment by forcing things, or trying to force things, because you literally cannot force things. But by trying to force things, and by kind of like deciding for yourself, like, no, this is the way that I want to go. Of course, you can set intentions. That is very good. But don't forget to be open to whatever comes your way, because you can learn from everything and anyone. I feel like again, sometimes you might feel like you have nothing to learn from people because you're like, I'm the expert in this field, so there's nothing that anyone can tell me about myself or about other things or about this discipline or whatever. But you can literally learn from everything and anyone. The bloom, creations realize, right time, harvest, celebrate. Yeah, something about creativity with the 5th house. Things are unraveling, and don't be too worried about it if you haven't been able to create, or if you have been having like a blockage, or like a writer's block, or like a reader's block even. Everything is happening as it needs to. Like, relax into this blockage and see what else can fill that space. If your art, if your music, if your whatever isn't working, then just stop trying to make it work and just see what other things you can pick up at this time. The grandmothers, remember your roots, perspective, trust the weavings. Exactly, trust the weavings. Trust the weavings. Always be open to your path in your journey. Now let's see from the Starseed Oracle some more advice. Let me see if we're still rolling. We'll take some Starseed Oracle cards for you to close up this reading. Okay, what final advice do we have for pile 3, please? Do you have to take this? I didn't necessarily feel like this was very significant, but inner earth, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Yeah, so if you stay open, if something is not working, then there's always going to be a solution in one way or another. And you shouldn't fuss too much about that, because it will all be well in one way or another. It's just a matter of finding which way. That's the thing. There's no such thing as a wrong or right decision. It there's just different outcomes. We're gonna put these back. And this one, weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Literally what I've been talking about at the beginning. Like, also don't be so caught up in other people's problems. Like, it's of course you can be of support. Of course you can be a friend. Of course you can give advice and help where they need it. But do they need it? Did they ask for it? Like, sometimes we give unsolicited advice with the best of intentions, but sometimes people just need to be seen with their pain and their sadness, and it's not your place to decide what they should do or shouldn't do. Starkeeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. Yeah, definitely this message of staying in contact with nature and grounding yourself. See, okay, I felt like I needed one more. This card also came on in one other pile. Water your garden. What the hell, y'all? Nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. I feel like this is a very good card to finish off the reading, because that's literally what we have been talking about. Things take time. Just take care of yourself right now. Put one foot in front of the other. And pile 3, be gentle with yourself. You're exactly where you need to be. And I feel like, again, lots of different messages, lots of chaos. Relatable. But yeah, this is all that I had for you here today. I really, really hope that you found some insight and some guidance, some clarity, whatever it is that you need at this time. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you. And as per usual, please feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know how this resonated. As per usual, it means so much to me to know how my readings land on the other side of the screen. And feel free to leave a like and subscribe. That really helps with the algorithm. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.